Hello, my lovelies, amazings, and wonderfuls. Thank you for so much for joining me on I Am Maggie. I really appreciate the time that we spend together, and I can just feel the energy in this community building. So guess who's back? Back again. Maggie's back with her friends. Anyway, okay, so what we have been doing is The Magic of Everyday Life by Maria Szepes. And it is just a wonderful book that gives us different pearls and tools, can help us on our path, and it can also help us to help others on their path. And their, whatever is going on in their lives, because a lot of us here, not only are we working on ourselves, but we are the hub for a lot of other people to upgrade too, because God put us all in this together. So we are in chapter 21, and we are moving through this book. We're almost done. So I'm really excited about everything that we've done. When you do get a chance, please make sure you hit like and subscribe and leave your positive comments. And in the background, you can hear my dog. He's like pumping it up for us. Okay, so in their own environment, everyone maintains shadows which stand in their path at every intention to escape or make a change. So it's kind of like we can get into the humdrum of life and fall asleep. Like if you're here, you're awakening, or you're awake and you're aware. But what she's saying is like that everyday grind can make you fall asleep, and it'll actually block you or stop you from making changes. They reprimand, remind, obstruct, stop our momentum, raise doubts, and we refer to what they know about us from previous actions, from stumbles, breakdowns, and mainly from the failure that in some form befell them. Okay, so where she's taught, like in a lot of spiritual texts, the Bible will talk to you about the old man, and then when we are born again in the new man. And like when you're gonna find a lot of times, if you're trying to like switch life tracks, you're gonna have to leave people behind if they're not going to if they're going to keep trying to drag you back into the old man or the old woman. And so what she's saying here is that people, so this is what I find interesting as we work towards change. You will always have that person that wants to come in and just tell you all the ways you can't, or you might even have that program within you. We're going to take that out, and we're going to get to going. We're going to get to stepping, and we're moving. But that person or inside can reprimand, remind, obstruct, or stop our momentum, raise doubts, and refer to what they know about us from previous actions, from stumbles, breakdowns, and mainly from the failure that in some form befell us. So one thing that this also brings to mind is when the place where Jesus performed the least miracles was his own hometown, because of their lack of belief, because of their lack of faith. And so sometimes, when I kind of look at that and I think, okay, Jesus did it, we can do it too. Like he calls us to come forward. He calls us to be our best person. He calls us to pick up our cross and to walk in the direction of our higher value orders. So here we if you need to like cut some things, some people, environments, habits to get what you need to do, I encourage you to do so. You can do it. Today, however, the fact is that we do not have the opportunity most of the time to change scenery in the physical sense, to make a trip, to move, at least not at the time when they would be a burning need to do so. But it is possible to effect a change of scenery, a stepping out of the old, by means of a symbolic rearrangement. Let us observe how people who are dissatisfied with their fate and with themselves are unceasingly rearranging their furniture. Frigid women constantly clean. They even scrub the inside of their closets. Morally depraved, uninhibited individuals are often seemingly maniacally clean, fastidious, when it comes to their body. Seeking out bright, cheerful colors is tandem with aging, withering. Almost by law, it is the symbolic color therapy of compensation balance. These instinctive symbolic series of actions all take place unconsciously in order to convince, to influence, and in doing so condition the imagination, as a result of which the soul attains a new self-competence and vitality. And if you ever walk onto a pediatric ward, it's usually all bright colors, you know, like, and it's got fun themes, and, you know, it's, you know, there to pick you up. And like, if you were to look into like Mind Valley or other positive places, you're gonna find like upbeat themes, bright colors. Anyway, so they can bring self-confidence and vitality. This instinctive mystery plays through recognition and can become a conscious vehicle for self-healing. If that's common, we know that like certain colors can evoke a certain response. Like sometimes at one point in my state, they were putting these like purpley, like violet type lights on things because they were noticing that crime went down because it was soothing. Okay, so if, for example, we are enclosed in a suffocating ring of an environment filled with bad energies and it paralyzes us, let us construct a symbolic series of changes in order to break the power of negativity. So, we break the power of negativity now. Let's take pains to do so. Prepare a careful plan. Acquire the necessary ingredients. Periodicals, books, or, you know, now we have the internet, right? So use that too. The same as if we were actually preparing to go on a trip to some beautiful, elevated, healing spa at that. So Neville Goddard has a story where he just imagined and imagined he was in Barbados, and then he was. So there's more to it than just, you know, you're going to imagine it, it's going to also manifest. So anyway, let us not forget that everything around us and in us is one or another symbol dressed in dust. Whew. Okay, let us not forget that everything around us and in us is one or another symbol dressed in dust. And we are stardust too. We are the same as what's in the stars. So the artistry of life is in the artistry of imagination. Talent is whether we can fill the empty frame of things with resounding, colorful, intense content. If we are incapable of doing so, the most wonderful environment will remain a blurry backdrop to our inner poverty. And I want to just say this too. If you do think you have issues with your imagination, if you exercise it and you keep practicing it, you will break through the glass ceiling or wood ceiling or steel ceiling, whatever the break is, the block, you will get through it. And your imagination really does need to be worked on. If you have these like blocks, or that you just have these thought patterns that say it's not possible, just work on your imagination. Even at Disneyland, they have a whole area for imagineering, right? And when they have conferences, like we have a friend that goes there and works with a lot of really high-level professionals. They do imagineering, and they look into the sky and they think about what's beyond the roof and what's possible. So if you don't think you can use your imagination just yet, just get to working on it and see how your life brightens up. Okay, back to this. Unless I am able to animate this play with my imagination, like a child living in total concentration in a fairy tale world, I shall remain cursed and banned in the eternal darkness. So we shall not remain cursed or banned in eternal darkness. Hiya! We pull that out now and cancel that. But we will live in the most greatest environments that our imagination can engineer. And there There we go. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. It is just lovely getting to spend this time with you. And I do hope that you are beginning to see that you are the magic of everyday life. And the magic of everyday life is within you and all around you. And as you start to live in this, you start to just realize how amazing it is that you are alive in such a time as this, and how your specific gifts and your energy and your heart and your spirit and your ideas and your imagineering is all needed in such a time as this. So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And when you do get a chance, please hit like, subscribe, and I'd love to hear your positive comments on whatever you're working on, whatever you might be working on to imagine for your life, how you are seeing the magic of everyday life in your life. Okay, thank you. Okay, and you know what's next? You know what's next? You know what's next. Peace in, peace out.